Good morning, Birmingham. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. The time is 9:34 a.m. I called to order the regular meeting of the Birmingham City Council. At this time, we'll have invocation led by Chaplain J.J. Johnson of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, and Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilor Clinton Woods. If y'all will please stand and join us.
Let us pray. Father, we do come today to give thanks. We thank you, Lord, for all that you've done, all that you're doing right now, because, Lord, we know not who we are, but whose we are. We praise and glorify your name. We ask today, Lord, that you bless the leadership of this city, help the mayor as he prepares to give his address, and we pray for all of our officers, all of our elected officials, all of those first responders that help to make this city what it is. Keep us in your hands. Keep us, Lord, with our minds steadfast on you, that as we move about to represent this city, we'll do what you've called us to do. And therefore, we'll make sure that everything is done properly. We love you, we praise you, we glorify you, and we just lift you up, Lord, in everything that we do. These blessings we ask today in the mighty, marvelous name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, Chaplain Johnson, for that thoughtful prayer. We appreciate it. At this time, good morning, Mr. Clerk.
Good morning.
If you'll call the roll, please.
Councilmember Gunn.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Councilmember O'Quinn. Councilmember Smith.
Good morning.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Councilmember Vasa. Good morning. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods. Council President Pro Tem Tate.
Good morning.
Good morning. Council President Alexander.
Good morning, President. Councilors, the minutes are not ready from the meetings of January 6, 2026 through February 17th, 2026. Chief, do we have any communications from the mayor?
We do, Madam President. Good morning, Madam Pro Tem, members of the council, members of the public. Mayor Whitfield is on his way in. I'll get us. Nope, I'm handing it off to him.
Good morning, Mayor Whitfield. And Councilor. Is that Markson present? Good morning, Mayor.
Madam President, good morning to you. Good morning to the entire council. Good to see each of you this morning. And good morning to those in the chamber and to the general public. As Chief Sparks was saying, Birmingham residents are invited to the State of the Community Town Hall meeting tonight. We'll be at 6 p.m. at the Boutwell Auditorium. This is our annual conversation around just updates on where we are, progress being made, addressing issues in our entire city, the 23 communities and 99 neighborhoods. It offers an opportunity to hear where Birmingham stands today and where we're headed, and how we're continuing to work on building a stronger city in 2026 and beyond. There will be complimentary parking at the Boutwell deck, and I hope your schedule permits you to attend. At this time, I would like to ask your colleague who's not here, but if he does, he can just join me at the podium. But in the meantime, representatives from Girls Inc. of Central Alabama, and there he is right there, right on time. As Dr. O'Quinn comes down and representatives from Girls Inc. of Central Alabama come up, since 1938, Girls Inc. of Central Alabama has provided programs for school-age girls of diverse racial and economic backgrounds, empowering them to gain confidence to make good choices, build skills to thrive, and take on leadership roles. Today, they're here to invite the public to their annual Bold Futures Breakfast. It's an event I've attended in the last few years, and it is really amazing. It will take place next month, March 12, 2026, at Haven. This event is a chance to experience firsthand the impact of Girls Inc., with an exciting morning featuring Girls Inc. program participants. And now at this time, I would like to ask Dr. O'Quinn to share a few words, and then Connie Hill and Latrice Jackson.
Good morning. Sorry for my tardiness. I want to just say that Girls Inc. has been a wonderful organization for the Birmingham community. But in addition to that, they've been great neighbors. I've had the good fortune of being a resident of the Crestwood area for the last couple of decades, and they, of course, are based in my neighborhood. And they've been great partners to the community, and we've enjoyed, having them. My own child had attended Girls Inc. For a little while, and it's great to have an organization dedicated to building strong, bold young women in our community. So proud to support their work and keep them endeavoring for the future. So, Connie?
Thank you so much. I'm Connie Hill. I'm the CEO at Girls Inc. of Central Alabama. This is Latrice Little Jackson, our COO. And we're here today just to say thank you for this opportunity to talk about our 5th annual Girls Inc. Bold Futures Breakfast. Thank you, Councilor O'Quinn, for your sponsorship of the event, and the city for all of your support and partnership over the years. As the mayor said, we've been in this community since 1938. We used to be called Girls Club, and during that time we've served thousands of girls and young women in Birmingham. We're proud to say that our alums include teachers, doctors, judges, Counselor Smitherman. Today our mission is to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. Our programs include health and wellness, both physical and mental health. We do a lot of academic enrichment and support, and we teach life skills. We work with girls in the Crestwood neighborhood, but also at Marks Village, at our Empowerment Center, at UAB, in our summer STEM camp, and throughout Birmingham City schools. So we're basically everywhere y'all are. As the mayor said, our breakfast is March 12th at 7:45 at Haven. You should all have a ticket in your inbox. If you don't, call one of us. The theme this year is Ready or Not, Here They Come. This is an acknowledgement and a celebration that the young women in our program today are the leaders of our community tomorrow. And I think we can all agree that we need more strong, smart, and bold young women in our community. And that's the work that we are doing at Girls Inc. So thank you for this time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Whitman and Councilor O'Quinn, for bringing this organization before us. I think we all value the work that you've done. You have a long list of work that you do, and as you said, wanting to build strong, smart young women. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And I have to say hello to a daughter of D7, Miss Latrice Little Jackson. Thank you.
Madam President, can I just
Yes.
say a few words? I really do appreciate Girls Inc. My sister went there. I went there, I think I was about 6 or 7 when I started going to Girls Inc. And what I really appreciate about Girls Inc. is that they always use the local amenities. I think, was it Crestwood or Crestline Pool? They would have us in a little line and we would go to the pool. And so a lot of my experiences using the park and recreation pools were through organizations like Girls Inc. And so being on the Parks and Arts with the counselors on the end, Counselor Smith and Gunn, I really would love to see us get back to that with the summer camps. Girls Inc. not only teach you strength, but they teach you basic life skills. I learned how to cook. I learned how to sew. I learned how to make friendships. Not only that, I learned how to make dances as well with my friends. But and then eventually through life, I ended up being employed by Girls Inc. as well, and I don't think they talked about, they actually go into the schools and teach kids about how not to bully, what bullying looks like. Not only that, what inappropriate touching looks like, which is so very important. Because, you know, at 5 or 6 years old, if you've listened to victims before, they didn't understand what was going on. And so the training was wonderful because we would put on a video, and they taught me to see if kids, how kids would react to a certain part of the video, because that either meant something happened to them, something was happening to them, or they were just, you know, oblivious to it. So it was very good, and I think it's great what you guys are doing. You know, Connie is just so amazing the way she's done, because they not only service girls in the Birmingham area, but really, you know, in different counties as well. So, and also my junior league placement is there, and I've enjoyed it. So thank you guys. I've enjoyed going to the breakfast every year. I hope you guys come. Here they have awards. I know they have like pitches the kids do. So, you know, whatever I can do to support you all, just let me know. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Mayor Woodfin. Councilors, at this time, if I could get unanimous consent that we will abbreviate the agenda to allow for the following presentation to take place. And this is a presentation by Councilor O'Quinn, a congratulatory resolution regarding nomination for the James Beard Award.
Councilors, this morning we wanted to take a moment to celebrate one of Birmingham's finest. This is Mr. Eric Bennett. And today we want to celebrate the occasion of him being nominated for a James Beard Award. So anybody who knows Birmingham knows that Birmingham's very much a food town. And being nominated for a James Beard Award is nothing new for restaurants and other establishments in Birmingham. We don't often see folks of color in that community, so we wanted to take this occasion to recognize that and lift up Mr. Bennett. So I want to offer a resolution, and I'll just read a brief portion of that to tell you a little bit about his background. So it says, whereas it is the pleasure and pride and privilege of this legislative body to congratulate Mr. Eric Bennett, a talented mixologist, shrewd entrepreneur, a caring neighbor, and loving family man on the occasion of his recent nomination for a James Beard Award. Whereas born and bred in Birmingham, Alabama, Mr. Bennett has always had a knack for inventing original flavors with food and beverages. He graduated from Shades Valley JCIB and Birmingham Southern College, beginning his career at Brio Bravo Restaurant Group as a server and bartender. He developed an interest in the world of alcohol and began researching brands and their history, while also learning how to correctly concoct classic and classically styled cocktails in a contemporary bar setting. Through his travel, he was able to transform his passion for spirits and love of flavor into a professional career. And skip over some of the other parts, but definitely, you know, he's done a lot to earn his chops, so just put it that way. Now, therefore, it be resolved that Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Birmingham, with Mayor Randall L. Woodfin concurring, pauses in its deliberation to join the family, friends, and colleagues in celebrating the multi-talented Mr. Eric Bennett. We congratulate him on his success thus far while wishing him all the best in his future endeavors. So I move for unanimous consent for this resolution.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And now the resolution.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right. Thank you. And Mr. Bennett, would you like to offer some comments?
Sure. Thank you all for not just the resolution, but continuing to advocate and put forth our best foot here in Birmingham. I feel like I'm always an advocate for the city, whether that is at Continental Drift or when I do get to travel, whether that's in New Orleans or wherever else that I have had the good fortune to go, especially this last year. So thank you all so very much. Thank you for supporting bars and restaurants in Birmingham. Thank you for supporting Black businesses in Birmingham. And yeah, we appreciate it. There we go.
Thank you. Councilor Williams?
Yeah, Eric, I'm obviously familiar with you and everything that you've done, and you're a great steward of representing Birmingham, and please keep continuing to do what you do, because you are the best part of the city of Birmingham for sure.
Wonderful. Councilor Gunn?
Thank you, Madam President. Congratulations, Eric. Not only is Eric working in the city of Birmingham, but he also lives in the city of Birmingham, particularly in District 4.
All right.
So shout out to my neighbor. This award is so much more than about you. This is inspiration for little black boys and little black girls across the city of Birmingham, letting them know that they too can do business in the city of Birmingham, and they can do anything that they put their minds to. So I want to say that, but I also want to say this too. Representation is not only important, but it matters. And so you never know what you can become if you don't see it. And so thank you for being that beacon of hope for young black boys and young black girls across the city of Birmingham. And this is also a testament, too, that you don't have to go outside of Birmingham to do business. You can do it right here in the city of Birmingham and succeed. You don't have to go to Atlanta. You don't have to go to Chicago. You don't have to go to Charlotte. You can be successful right here in the city of Birmingham. So thank you for doing that, Eric.
Woo. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just really excited. Thank you, Dr. O'Quinn, for bringing this presentation forward and bringing this introduction of Mr. Bennett to us, those of us who don't know him or haven't been to the restaurant. And so I just looked it up, so I'm going to definitely go by there. And what is the date that the awards will be announced? Do we know?
So the finalists will be announced on March 31st, and then the actual awards on June 15th.
All right.
In
Well, we'll
Chicago.
definitely be thinking of you and wishing you for success.
Sure.
It's just a prize to even be nominated. I mean, you're among a class group of people, so thank you so much.
Thank you all so very much.
All right, counselors, at this time, we'll return back to our agenda. And we do have items that are being considered this morning for consent and one addendum item. I'll read our conduct of business. Considering the consent agenda, all items designated as consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial, and they will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or a citizen interested in a public hearing so requests. If so, such matters will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation that's indicated with a capital P will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item numbers only. All public hearings will be announced. At this time, Mr. Clerk, if you'll announce the items being considered for consent.
Okay, consent agenda for today starts on page 2 with item 3. Skip over to page 7. Item 4 is on consent. Page 11, item 5 is on consent. Page 13, item 6 is on consent. Page 14, we have items 7, 8, 9, and 10 on consent. Page 15, we have items 11, 12, and 13 on consent. Page 16, items 14, 15, 16, and 17. On page 17, we have items 18, 19, and 20 on consent. Page 18, item 21 is on consent. Page 19, items 26 and 27 are on consent. Page 20, items 28, 29, 30, and 31 are on consent. Please note that on item 31, we have a language change as far as the synopsis is concerned. On page, what is this? 21, second line, we're going to strike in the North Birmingham area of and placed throughout. So it would read up to 50 homes throughout District 9. Same language should be also noted on the contract itself. Page 21, we're going to add items 32 and 33 to the consent agenda. Page 22, items 34, 35, and 36 are on consent. Page 23, items 38, 39, and 40 are on consent. Page 24, items 41, 42, and 43 are on consent. Page 25, items 44, 45, 46, and 47 are on consent. And on page 26, we conclude with items 48, 59, 50, and 51. You have addendum item as well, one addendum item.
All right, thank you. Councilors, are there any items you'd like to have added or removed from consent? Okay, at this time, we'll entertain a motion and a second for,
Second.
Give me 1 second. Voting should start now. Okay. Council President Alexander.
yes.
All right, that vote should be up. Well, it's unanimous.
All right, thank you. Councilors, all the items that were considered for consent have been approved. For the members of the audience, if you were here for any item that was listed as consent, it has been approved, and we'll continue with the rest of our agenda. Mr. Clerk, first item, please.
Item 1, an ordinance to further amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham. Case number ZAC 2025-9, to change zone district boundaries from C1 Neighborhood Commercial District to C2 General Commercial District, filed by Alabama Realty Brokers III, LLC, property owner, and Brandon Prince, BHML Law Group, LLC, applicant for the property generally located at 501 Huffman Road. It's situated in section 36, quarter section 4, township 16, range 2 west, 35235, in order to allow for the use of an event center, real estate office, and a cigar shop, and hearing of ownership parties. Motion, please.
So moved.
All right, councilors, this is an ordinance to further amend the zoning district map. I'll turn this over. This is a public hearing. I'll turn this over to Councilor O'Quinn.
I believe my co-chair, Councilor Vasa, would
Mr.
like to
Vasa,
handle the public
right.
hearing.
Thank you. Well, we'll turn it over to you, Councilor Vasa.
Thank you, Madam President. All right, so is staff available to report on this item?
Good morning. My name is Kim Sproul. I serve as the city zoning administrator in the Department of Planning, Engineering, and Permits. This first item that's before you is ZAC 2025-9. This is a request to rezone property from C1, which is our neighborhood commercial district, to C2, which is a general commercial district. The property is located at 501 Huffman Road, and it is in the Huffman neighborhood. The applicant is requesting to use the existing building, which is approximately 6,000 square feet, for an event center, a real estate office, and a cigar shop. The event center will provide an entertaining conference center that will have 7 offices, conference rooms, an event room, kitchen facilities, and a cigar lounge with cocktails. They plan on having 4 employees depending on the types of events that will be booked at the facility. The proposed hours of operation for the event center are 7 a.m. to 12 a.m., and the space will be available all 7 days of the week. The real estate office, Alabama Realty Brokers, will operate from Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and on Saturday and Sunday it will be open by appointment only. They currently have 16 realtors who will share that space. And the cigar shop will operate Tuesday to Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and employees will include a store manager and 1 independent part-time contractor. The city's adopted long-range land use plan does identify this property as general commercial. If the rezoning is approved, the applicant will have to apply for a special exception before the City Zoning Board of Adjustment for the event center use. There were no comments from the city's landscape architect, the Stormwater Division, or the Department of Transportation. The applicant did attend the Huffman Neighborhood Association. The neighborhood met on October 27th, 2025 to review this rezoning request, and they voted 13-1 to approve the rezoning. The Zoning Advisory Committee met on November 18th, 2025, and they voted 4-0 to recommend this rezoning request to the council. The Planning and Zoning Committee met on January 13th, 2026, and they voted to recommend this rezoning request to the full council. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Kim. Do we have any questions from the council for staff? Seeing none. Is the applicant present? Yes, sir. Please state your name and address.
Brandon Prince, 1216 Ivy Brook Circle, Homewood, 35209.
Wonderful. If you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about this property and your interest in it.
Yes, so I actually represent the property owner. She's a real estate broker. She runs her brokerage out of the office and intends to operate 2 other businesses, that being the cigar shop and the event center. I believe the staff covered everything as it relates to that. She's been an asset to the community over there. I believe it's owned the building for a number of years and is intending to redevelop it.
Thank you, sir. So seeing this is a public hearing, I will open it up to comments from the public. All right, seeing none, any questions from the council before a vote?
I did have one question. I just wanted to ask about the businesses that will be included in the structure. You said the cigar spot, is this where you just go and you buy cigars? Will you be able to,
I believe you'll be able to consume them on property as well.
okay, and then, I see it has HVAC, so you got the proper ventilation already?
So she'll be doing that during the redevelopment. What she wanted, we have to get through the rezoning first so that she can get approved for all her
Okay.
permits to proceed with everything.
All right, thank you. That's my only question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you. Did want to just note appreciation for your client. They opened the property to the neighborhood, allowed them to come in and tour and really see what was going on there. So that goes a long way into really getting support. I think it also supports one of our goals of filling every empty building kind of in and around the parkway. And so that's just been some continual momentum. So we're grateful for the work that's being done and the investment that's coming back into the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions from the council? All right, Madam President, I hand it over to you for a vote.
At this time, there are no further questions. We're ready for the vote on item 1.
Council President Alexander.
And my vote is aye, thank you.
All right, vote should be up.
All right, thank you, that item passes. Next item.
The item 2, an ordinance to consider the adoption of a proposed text amendment to the city's zoning ordinance, amending Title 1, Chapter 1, Article 3, Section 1, Number 121, ordinance number 15-133 as amended, case number ZAC 2025-29, and a hearing of all interested parties.
All right, thank you, councilors. This is an ordinance for adoption of proposed text amendment to the city's zoning ordinance. Councilor Vasa, are you handling this one as well?
Thank you, Madam
Thank
President.
you. I'll turn it over to you.
All right, is staff available for report? Thank you, Kim.
Good morning. Once again, my name is Kim Sproul. I serve as the city zoning administrator. We have 5 text changes within this application. So I'll kind of go over each one. The first text change is the height in our D5 multifamily districts. The current height in D5 for our duplex, townhouse, and multifamily buildings is 45 and 60 feet. So this amendment would lower that height to 35 feet for all of those uses in our D5 multifamily district. The R5 district, which is the comparable district to D5, has always been 35, and so this is to keep consistent with the former R5 district. The second text change is to allow single-family detached residential uses in our mixed-use medium district. As we've been going through our framework plan rezonings, we've noticed that there are some areas that have been identified in some of our communities as mixed-use medium, and there are single-family residential homes in those areas. So instead of having them as legal non-conforming, this would allow them to be permitted as right in those districts. The third text change is to clarify that heavy industrial is a permitted use in our I-4 district. The I-4 district is mining, landfill, and timbering. We don't have a lot of I-4 in the city. We have, through interpretation, allowed heavy industrial in those districts, but we wanted to clarify that this would be permitted with conditions in those I-4 areas. Then the next two changes relate to our landfills. We currently only have one definition for a landfill, and so what we have proposed is to split the landfills into two. We have a definition for a public landfill, which would be a landfill for the city or the county or another public entity. And we also are proposing a definition for a private landfill, which would be if there's a private company that wanted to operate a landfill. Currently, those landfills are allowed by right in our I-4 district. After we received some feedback in our rezoning, framework plan rezoning meetings, there were some neighborhoods that had concerns that they were permitted by right in I-4. And so what we are proposing is to make them a special exception use in I-4. So a special exception means that the applicant would have to submit their application to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and it would require the applicant attend a neighborhood meeting. That would ensure that we do have feedback from the neighborhood before the landfill would be permitted. And then it would go before the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a vote. So those are the text changes. I'd be happy to answer any questions about those if you have them.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Yes, sir.
Real quick, because zoning always confuses me with its complexities. With the area framework plans that we're doing, how does this interact with that?
So
It's like, we've passed, through?
right, so there's still 4 community-wide rezonings that have to go through. The north side, south side rezoning is scheduled for March 31st.
Okay.
We'll be scheduling, hopefully next week, the eastern area rezoning. And then we will have Pratt Inslee, and then southern area will follow. So those will be later this spring. Those will complete the entire rezoning for the city, and we will be able to sunset Title II of the ordinance, which has the R's for residential, the B's for commercial, the M's for industrial, and we will solely be under one ordinance. And these changes will apply to those new designations once those areas are rezoned.
Okay, the section where we're taking the acceptable or permitted height of is it a multifamily, is that what you said?
Yes, it's in D5. It's duplex, townhouse, and multifamily in D5. That will be 35 feet, which is what we allow currently in the R5, which is its sister district.
So a lot of feedback that I have gotten has been, and maybe this issue is solving it, I'd have to really read a lot and dig into it. But one feedback issue that I've gotten is that when we're moving over to the new ordinance, the height inadvertently increased. And so in some people's residential, like traditional single-family residential backyard, all of a sudden, there's now allowed to be like a whatever, however many feet structure. So this would theoretically fix that.
This would
Is that
resolve
correct?
that issue.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any additional questions from council? Councilor Gunn?
Thank you. Could you repeat the definition for I-4, and then could you qualify what is considered heavy industrial?
Yes, sir. So I-4 is our district that is just for mining, landfills, and timbering. So I-4 currently allows mining, landfills, and timbering, and we have allowed by interpretation heavy industrial uses, but it has not been explicitly in our permitted uses table. So what we're doing is adding in I-4 that heavy industrial is now permitted, but we do have, so heavy manufacturing, if there's any activity storing materials outdoors and adjacent to any dwelling zone district, an opaque fence shall be constructed to screen the ground level view of the adjacent dwelling zone district. Materials shall not be piled or stacked higher than the fence. Any materials stored or that are a result of any process that are friable and potential airborne or can be washed away by stormwater must be in an enclosed structure that would prevent the materials from being blown or washed onto an adjacent lot. And then we also require a landscape buffer between the heavy industrial and any use that is not a like use.
Thank you, Kim. Any additional questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, with the height restrictions for D5, I can imagine a scenario where we would like multifamily, and it's appropriate to have a taller than 35-foot structure. So, I think this fixes the issue of having a single-family residence and a 60-foot building, next to it. So that solves for that. How do we intend to solve for the need for multifamily over 35 feet?
So our staff is currently researching, we've done some initial research on existing apartment buildings that exceed 35 feet in the city, and we've done some initial data gathering on where those are located and what zoning districts are adjacent to them. What our plan is to create a new zoning district, and it will come back before the council later this year, that will create a multifamily district that will allow structures to go over 35 feet. But we will have to create that district and possibly create, we're not sure if it's going to be one district or if we're going to need two. We'll work with our planning commission and the planning and zoning committee as we create those districts, but we fully intend to add a new category to allow for multifamily buildings that are taller than 35 feet in a residential zone district that are not mixed use.
Okay, so if this is approved today, under the existing code, the only structures over the 35 feet for multifamily, the only zoning designation that would work would be like a mixed use. Is that correct?
That's correct. Or general commercial, it allows multifamily also.
Okay, all right. But mixed use and general commercial come with a lot of other uses that would be allowed by right that might not necessarily be appropriate for, say, a residential multifamily community. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. That's why we're going to research this new district that would not allow commercial uses. It would only allow for taller multifamily in that district.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Gunn?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I can get in clarity and a correct picture on the I-4 designation. This is not expanding, is it?
No, sir. We're not expanding the I-4. It's already on the maps. We have an M4 district and I-4 in the framework plan rezonings. Those properties are, the M4 being carried over to I-4, but this in no way is expanding those areas.
Okay. My follow-up to that, are there specific corridors in the city that are designated I-4?
So if you look on the zoning map, most of the I-4 is kind of on the outskirts. There's some I-4 in North Birmingham, and there's also some I-4 in the Pratt Inslee area. That's actually where this came about at one of their community meetings. So it's kind of spotty throughout the city, but they're mostly in areas where there's already heavy industrial activities occurring.
Okay. My last question then, I want to make sure, are there protections in place that will kind of limit any new heavy industrial type development, especially in District 4? District 4 has bore the brunt of heavy industry over the last few decades. So I just want to make sure that there are some protections in place for residents. Anytime like new heavy industrial companies want to, locate in District 4 in particular. I'm not sure if that's the same sentiment for my colleagues.
Yes, sir. So what we have done in our framework plan rezonings is tried to identify heavy industrial zoned areas and some I-4 areas that we could downzone if they do not have an active use. So we have taken that opportunity in all of the framework plan area rezonings to downzone where appropriate. We also have the conditions for all heavy industrial uses, and then there's added conditions, including the buffer requirement when they are adjacent to residential.
Thank you, Counselor Gunn. Additional comments from the council? Seeing none, thank you, Kim. Is anyone here from the public to speak for or against this item? Hello, please state your name and address.
Daniel Christensen, 2412 2nd Avenue North. I'm here specifically addressing the D5 height changes. As we all well know, the city suffers from quite a homelessness problem, and this council has been quite adamant in addressing that directly head-on. However, the proper solution for homelessness and housing affordability is to nip it in the bud by allowing housing to exist in a way that people can afford and stay stable. This height change does not do that. This height change is an attack on our affordability of our multifamily zones, the zones that are supposed to be the most affordable for our people, our residents, and the people that wish to come here, so that our residents are not pushed out of their homes by increased rents as the competition for housing becomes unbearable. Lowering the height limits in this D5 zone, this zone intended for multifamily use, for affordable housing, will reduce the supply of housing over the next decade, allowing landlords to increase their rents, pushing the 50% of Birmingham renters that are living under housing burden conditions, that is 30% or more of their income dedicated to housing, and the 30% of Birmingham renters that spend more than 50% of their income on housing, further and further out from our city, driving them either out of the city or into homelessness, onto the street. It won't be immediate, it'll be incremental, but step by step as we install these restrictions on where housing is allowed to be, we have created the housing crisis that we already have, And if we keep gnawing at it step by step, it's only going to get worse. Please consider removing this portion of this amendment from this item so that we can continue to address at the root the causes of homelessness and housing affordability crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other comments from the public? All right, seeing none, any questions or comments for the council before we vote? All right, seeing none, I'll hand this back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. At this time, councilors, if you don't have any questions, we'll consider the vote. I vote aye.
President Pro Tem Tate? Oh, she got it. All right, that vote should be up. That vote is up, Madam President.
All right, thank you. That item passes. Number 2 passes. Next item.
Item 22, an ordinance amending ordinance number 22-85, adopted by the Birmingham City Council on June the 14th, 2022, to correct the legal description of real property located at 3010 16th Avenue North, Birmingham, Alabama 35234. This is an item of permanent operation. I need UC to pass it today.
Second.
Councilmember Gunn. Aye. Councilmember O'Quinn.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith. Aye. Councilmember Smitherman. Aye. Councilmember Vasa. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods. Aye. Council President Pro Tem Tate. Aye. Council President Alexander.
Aye.
A motion item, please.
All right, thank you, councilors. This is a first reading of an ordinance actually correcting the legal description of a property. Any questions regarding this item? Yes, Councilor Wood.
What are we doing? Well, I mean, I read it,
I
but like,
know.
why?
If we get the city attorney, thank you.
So this is just a correction on legal description. I have Attorney Abrams and Dukes if you need more follow-up. They can come in.
Sure, I mean, is there a reason?
Good morning. My name is Lamar Dukes. I serve in the Office of the City Attorney. And the purpose of the item before you is to just correct a typo that's in the legal description of the ordinance that was previously passed. There is stated East 80 when it should state East 30.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, councilors, we're ready for the vote.
Councilmember Woods. Is out?
He's out.
Absent. All right, voting should be up.
All right, thank you. Item 22 passes. Next item.
Item 23, an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement among Jefferson County, the city of Homewood, the city of Mountain Brook, and the city of Birmingham, under which, upon the dissolution of the Highway 280 Public Road Cooperative District created by those parties in 2018 to construct a pedestrian bridge across Highway 280 in Birmingham and north of and adjacent to Hollywood Boulevard. The remaining funds of the cooperative district will be used by Jefferson County to construct sidewalks on either side of the current 280 bridge at Hollywood Boulevard. Again, this is an item of permanent operation in the UC. Councilmember Gunn. Aye. Councilmember O'Quinn. Aye. Councilmember Smith. Aye. Councilmember Smitherman. Aye. Councilmember Vasa. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods is out again. Councilmember Tate. Aye. Councilmember President Alexander.
Aye. Thank you very much. This, again, councilors, is ordinance.
Move the item.
Oh, Lord.
Move the item.
I thought we'd done that already.
Who moved the item? I'm sorry.
Move the item.
Okay, item is before you.
Thank you, I apologize. This is an ordinance approving, authorizing the mayor to execute this intergovernmental agreement between these entities and municipalities for building and constructing this pedestrian bridge across Highway 280. And I know there's been some public acknowledgement of this with the media, so this is a great time for us to entertain it. I was going to allow Dr. O'Quinn as transportation, if you'll just give us an idea. I know it's being brought forward by the Director of Transportation, but
Yeah.
you could give us an idea about this.
Sure. So this is a project in Councilor Voss's district. And what happened is that, folks who are familiar with the political boundaries of Birmingham will know that the 280 corridor is in the city of Birmingham. Therefore, the Hollywood Boulevard Bridge and some of the property on either side is also in the city of Birmingham. But of course, Hollywood Boulevard connects Mountain Brook Village to downtown Homewood and is an important corridor. And largely because of the advocacy of then public citizen Jennifer Andress, then Councilor Andress, and now Mayor Andress, she was speaking out on behalf of the pedestrian community, namely bicyclists and runners and pedestrians who, for the past, many decades have been taking their life in their own hands to traverse that bridge. If you've ever stood there, it's intimidating. There's the guardrail is sort of like knee-high. So, if there was an accident, you can imagine the consequences of what would happen. So through many years of advocacy, in 2018, the city of Birmingham, city of Homewood, and the city of Mountain Brook utilized this tool called a interlocal cooperative to create a area where the three municipalities can collaborate, and the city of Homewood and the city of Mountain Brook and other entities can actually invest money outside of their jurisdiction. And so, long story short, this is the culmination of realizing the project to expand that bridge and allow pedestrian access. It's also going to improve traffic flow for vehicular traffic. And currently that's a big challenge at that location too. But what is before us today is actually changing the agreement to allow for the funds that have been raised for this project to be transferred to Jefferson County, to the county, because they're managing the project when because the project is now funded, the cooperative, the interlocal cooperative doesn't need to exist anymore, so plans are to dissolve the cooperative. But the cooperative that actually holds some money right now, those funds would be transferred to the county, and those are going to be used for the sidewalk infrastructure on either side of the bridge. So just a slight change to the agreement. But it should also be said that this is a win for our region because you have multiple municipalities working together. It's complicated, but the city of Trussville, even though they're far removed in geography, is also part of this funding mechanism in particular. So you have, 4 municipalities, folks in state government and federal government who all came together to make this happen. So it's just a great example of, what we can do when we're all working together to take on a challenging and complex issue. And hopefully, is an example for future endeavors. And Councilor Vasa is already in conversation with the city of Mountain Brook and City of Homewood about other, potential projects building on this collaboration.
Thank you. Councilor Vasa?
Thank you, Councilor Quinn and Madam President. I just wanted to really give a shout out to Councilor Quinn, who's really held the water on this project. As you all know, I'm one of the newbies, so I just started, 100+ days ago. But really, it's been Quinn and my predecessor, Councilor Abbott, who worked towards bringing this to fruition. So just wanted to say that, and it was wonderful yesterday being in a room with several mayors, Mayor Woodfin, of course, and Andrus and others. And so appreciate this work, and this is definitely a win-win.
Thank you. Any other comments? I would just like to say I'm also excited to see this type of collaboration and cooperation between each of these municipalities. And I also want to congratulate Mayor Andrus on her advocacy to from citizen to councilor to mayor to help to get this done. And I want to talk about, yesterday we had a meeting with our own Birmingham Department of Transportation. I think Councilor Smitherman and I, and maybe some other councilors, have already entertained the conversation about Go Beham. And this is also projects similar to this that we might see realized in our own districts about making areas more pedestrian, bicycle friendly. I have a spot right there near Red Mountain Park that really sits between 3 different neighborhoods. And if we could get a bridge or some type of walking path to go over what I call the windy roads, and that's we know the Oxmoor Road, but that also helps to improve the quality of life. These residents will be able to enjoy the park without having to get in a car and ride over there. So just some future things that we may see on this pathway in Birmingham as well. So thank you all. Appreciate the work that you've done on that. Any other comments? We're ready for the vote.
Council President Pro Tem Tate and President Alexander.
I go yes. What's going on with our pads?
All right, vote should be up.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Item 23 passes.
Item 24, an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Jefferson County, Alabama, under which Jefferson County will undertake a project to make certain public infrastructure improvements to portions of Edwards Lake Road located in the city, and the city will provide $550,000 in funding in support of the project, which amount is 40% of the estimated project cost of $1,375,000. Another item of permanent operation that need UC. Councilmember Gunn. Councilmember O'Quinn. Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Smitherman. Councilmember Vasa. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods. President Pro Tem Tate. Council President Alexander.
Aye.
Motion on the item, please.
All right, thank you, councilors. This is an ordinance approving again, authorizing the mayor to execute another intergovernmental agreement with Jefferson County, under which they'll take on a project on Edwards Lake Road. We did discuss this project in Budget and Finance yesterday, but do we have, would Transportation like to talk about this one again?
Yeah, Council Woods, is this in your district?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, so congratulations, I'm sure the residents, everybody likes to see a good paving project happen. This is one that's a collaboration, of course, between the city of Birmingham and Jefferson County. So this 40% of the segment of the road is in the city of Birmingham, and thus the 40% of the total funding being allocated, or $550,000 is coming from the city of Birmingham. The county is covering the remaining balance. The only other thing that I would add is in our Transportation Infrastructure Committee meeting, Mr. Alexander from our Birmingham Department of Transportation mentioned that there were some concerns raised by the community about a center turn lane configuration that's there presently that is basically being, often abused as a passing lane from people who are trying to get around slower moving traffic. So that reconfiguration of the striping on Edwards Lake Road will be also part of this project to correct for that issue.
All right, thank you. Councilor Woods?
Thank you, Madam President. I think this is just another good example of what we can do when we really work together and cooperate. I think, one, to Councilor Quinn's point, this has been a pretty much ongoing concern from residents around the safety of that roadway. The center lane has been literally used as people just blowing by, passing people. There's been a lot of accidents there. I do want to credit our Department of Transportation because we have worked together over the years to find solutions, the different opportunities, and even the plastic pylons that didn't really stand a chance. People ran over those, so those lasted about a week. And so I think taking advantage of this opportunity, one, to repave the whole road, institute a road diet to encourage some of that cut-through traffic to utilize Gaston Highway and Roebuck Parkway versus cutting through the community. And so just excited to kind of partner with the county to ensure that we pave the entire road at one time. I think everybody has seen historically where you may see a good section of road paved and then it stops and then it skips ahead. And so this kind of ensures that all this is happening at the same time. So definitely shout out administration, Department of Transportation here for really working to get this to the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know we were very excited to have this item come before us in Budget and Finance, and I think everyone was just, again, seeing the synergy between the city and the county, again, to pave the entire road. I think that's good. And let it be heard, any utility that comes and patches that road after we get through with this, we gonna talk about y'all, all right? Yes.
We also, again, thank the administration, Mr. James Fowler, BDOT, but we spoke a lot about collaboration and collective moving, but it also shows a lot of times we get these complaints about why the whole road wasn't paved. So now this highlights to anybody watching, a lot of the times the county has to play their role. So it empowers people, and congratulations to Mayor Andrews, from citizen to mayor. But this is what power looks like. So we have to understand, what belongs to who, and it's good to advocate. So again, thank Councilor Boston O'Quinn and Councilor Everett. I know she did a lot, and congratulations to Councilor Wood. All these projects that are getting done, collaboration and collective movement is so important.
Exactly. Thank you. All right, we're ready for the vote.
Council President Pro Tem, thank you. The vote should be up.
All right, item 24 passes. Thank you. Next item.
Item 25. Item 25 has been revised. An ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute for and as the act of said city, one, a real estate purchase and sale agreement with Music Center LLC, under which the city will purchase from Music Center LLC certain real property consisting of a 7,000 square foot vacant lot, which is located at 1312 First Avenue North, for a purchase price of, I think it should be changed to $168,000, with such property to be used for future development. And this again is an item of permanent operation need, UC. I'm sorry. Resolution, so I guess we can, permanent is fine though, still took that motion. But it should be a resolution instead of an ordinance, to my understanding. So motion on the item itself. Well, let me do I'll tell you what, it's a regular resolution, so I just need a motion on the item.
Just need a motion.
All right. This
Do
item
we
is
get a
before you.
second? Second. All right.
Item is before you.
Thank you. At this time, I know this item did come before Budget and Finance, but if we could have some discussion about this particular item.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, council. It's good to be back before you. As I guess, start and frame this conversation, I'll ask Reniel Johnson to come in from the Department of IEO, as well as Elena Melton, who leads our unhoused services and portfolio. You know, I've had a chance now, I think, over the last few years, and of course with this new council the last few months, to talk to each of you individually about our unhoused residents in our city. In addition to that, we've had numerous public conversations, and I think for us, we continue to try to find ways to decrease residents in our city who are unhoused, find various options and methods and ways and programs to provide assistance to those who are unhoused. This is another example of that. As we continue to research, talk to other mayors, as we continue to benchmark other cities, visit other cities in what they do around unhoused services and for their unhoused residents, one of the things we find is that human nature is just that, human nature. All human beings, whether they are housed or unhoused, hang out. For housed residents, it tends to be at bars and lounges and clubs and restaurants and home and public places like parks and others. For unhoused residents, a lot of that hanging out tends to be on city right-of-way, whether it's a park or a block or a street corner. And then what we find is that those opportunities of hanging out increase around the times where shelters hours are not open and or in proximity to them. And then the third thing we find in that is that, and it's very plain to see just by straight visibility right in front of you with your own eyes, is that unhoused residents tend to hang out in public spaces with housed residents and vice versa, in some of these city blocks and or city parks, et cetera. And so what we found is that there are cities that are taking on this notion of if unhoused residents are going to hang, create a space, if you would, that's one, safe, two, there's some accountability around enforcement, three, that it's clean and sanitary. So there's a huge partnership, if you would, with, in our case, would be Birmingham Police Department and Public Works. Then you add on top of this, and as I shared this with Budget and Finance yesterday, probably the main ingredient you want in this is those who can actually build trust and be in the best position to on-ramp access to services, whether it's housing, shelter, other programs, et cetera. The biggest gap in our city, and I dare say any city related to unhoused residents, is building trust. That when we just walk up to people or approach people or pull up, it's usually based on aggravated circumstance. It can be a crime, or it can be a situation where there's a mental health issue. And whether it's either one of those or in between the things I didn't name, when we try to get services to unhoused residents, believe it or not, a lot of times it's no. They don't want to accept the help. They don't want to accept the offer. They want to stay where they are and or just move on down the street or out of our vicinity, especially when it's a call for services. But we can't force them to take help, receive help, or on-ramp to additional services, programs, and or housing, and or the immediate overnight shelter. And so what we believe this space can provide is a consistent space, but with the consistent space allow you to build rapport, allow you to build trust, and from there you can then get people, those who are unhoused, to the services that they need. So there's an opportunity here and what's before you to purchase this property, and then we would retrofit this property to be that spot where people can not only hang but get the help they need. Ireneo Johnson's here to provide you more information related to the actual purchase of this property, to share what he shared with BNF yesterday.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Madam Pro Tem, Madam President. Good morning. My name is Ireneo Johnson. I serve as Project Manager to the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. The item before you this morning is an acquisition of property located at 1312 First Avenue North. The property is a vacant lot in which the city would convert into an urban park, as the mayor alluded to. This park would serve as he has alluded to, as an on-ramp for additional servicing for our homeless community. The park is under design review. We don't know exactly what the footprint exactly looks like, but we do have some ideas that will provide tables and chairs for reception area seating, potential lockers for storage, a dog park for storing the animals, and some green space. Some other details will be added, of course, but as the mayor alluded to, that this will provide additional services that's already being provided and enhance relationships that the homeless would feel unthreatened and have a safe space to come. As the mayor alluded to, BPD as well as Public Works will provide services for safety as well as maintaining the property, as well as additional providers who will be working in it as well. I have Ms. Elena Melton here who can provide some additional information in terms of how the services will be provided. The park will have hours of operation. There will not be any overnight encampments that will come about with this. This will be dedicated hours of operation, no overnight stay. So this again will be operated to the city's, as the mayor alluded to. I have Ms. Melton here to offer some additional information.
Good morning, Elena Melton. I serve as Director of the City of Birmingham's Unhoused Strategies. As the mayor and Ireneo have already said, this is an answer to a lot of where do they go? We ask that all the time. So there will be space for storage, secure storage for people experiencing homelessness. There will be public restrooms. There will be a secure dog area. To date, it's the only place that they are welcome to bring their pets. It'll be open for 12 hours each day. There will be connections to wraparound services. We'll have partners with existing homeless service providers that can come and provide their services there. And then the last and most important thing, this was in conjunction with some of our opioid initiatives. So we do have a goal to help with access to treatment or care intervention strategies to help decrease the number of opioid overdoses that we're seeing among this community.
Thank you very much. Councilors, any questions with that?
I'll add one more note.
Yes, sir.
It's just point of emphasis. I know public safety and maintaining a public infrastructure via Public Works is important to each of you individually and collectively. We have to maintain that first for this to work. So questions around how many officers, that'll be assessed based on and scaled up based on how many men and or women actually are in the space, no different than any other type of event activity that's outdoors or indoor for that matter. I think too is that we will have to get with Public Works to see what the actual scheduled maintenance looks like to keep it clean, removing trash, et cetera, et cetera. And then from a technology standpoint, we do believe this is tailor-made to be in the best position to provide cameras, et cetera, and just to monitor the site during hours of operation as well as when it's not open to the public as well.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilor Williams?
Thank you. I have a question for Mr. Johnson. Ireneo, you serve in economic development, and it's hard to not look at what is next door to this site, which is Innovation Depot, way one block over. What do you think, in your opinion, from economic development message, are we sending new or potential new businesses to come to our city, go to that incubator, and then right next door to it is, a daytime homeless camp?
I think it says that the city of Birmingham cares, that we're taking the people off the street and giving them somewhere to go and offering services to keep them from hanging at the Innovation Depot, from hanging in front of businesses, giving them a spot to where they can come and try to rebuild their lives. This is a complex situation, and it's going on all over America. But we have to have some kind of solution, or at least address the issue. So in terms of economic development, yes, I understand the concerns, but there's also a concern of homelessness in front of businesses, and that kind of takes away from that. So it's a two-edged sword. Either you do something or you don't. I think the mayor is being proactive and taking some measures to alleviate this. So I think it's going to help, because it's going to take people off of the street and have them from lingering in spaces where business are being conducted.
Councilor Williams. Another question was directed at Mr. Johnson here, but just to add to his point, I speak with Brooke often about what's happening in our vicinity. And it tends to be happening on the sidewalk that's adjacent to Innovation Depot. So just isolating it to your example that you gave. And it's both sides of the sidewalk. It's 14th, if I'm correct, and it's second north. And what we find is that, what I find two things. I've observed it with my own eyes multiple times. I've had Chief Pickett personally go down in a vehicle, observe it himself. And then as I continue to talk to North Precinct, whether it's the captain, lieutenant, and or beat officers, collectively we observe two things, and it's no particular order. One is that Church of the Reconcile, which was there before, I believe, Innovation Depot, has certain hours. And when those hours are no longer in operation for, I guess, unhoused residents to take advantage of, there's a let out. And that's literally where people gather. The other thing, and this is equally true, like I personally know this, and I don't know if you all picked up on what I said earlier, but that just so happens to be one of those intersections where housed residents literally intermingle with unhoused residents and vice versa. It could be construed as if everybody's unhoused, but that's simply not true. It just literally becomes a hangout spot. This is literally designed to create a space that's not necessarily in front of and or adjacent to that city right of way that abuts Innovation Depot. They're gonna find somewhere to hang. If it's not that city block, it will be another city block where another business is. That's the human nature part that I was saying about, like, whether we're housed or unhoused, people choose to gather somewhere. Why not be proactive and create a space where people will gather, but be in the position to offer services, which it's hard to offer those services on that city block because you don't know who's who. And this space, by the way, is not going to exclude housed residents, but it's going to put us in a position to create that trust, and it's a consistent space versus we flood that block because we get a call and there's some illegal activity or criminal activity or drug transaction. We blow it up. One or two things happen. It dies down for a second, and then they find a way to just come back to that same block, or they literally just go down a few blocks somewhere else, and then we have that same issue down the street.
Sure. So when we were first, and I know we're talking about purchasing a property, and I think that we can sit and talk about this ad nauseum, but it's very clear that I don't believe it's the city's responsibility to have the taxpayer pay for a place for homeless people to hang out. I don't think that's the taxpayer's responsibility, point blank. But when we were first presented this, it was through opioid funds, is when we were presented this idea. And when we were presented it, we were told that there will not be, so it looks like that this has changed some, but we were told that there will be no Birmingham police presence there. We were told that it would only be I don't know if it was the HEART program or if it was being called something else from that West Coast group. And I think that we were using opioid funds because we were going to have Narcan supplied there, which I have a huge problem with because, and I don't know if that is still I know we're talking about the purchase of a piece of property versus the operations of it and how we were going to have it operated. But the idea that we would prolong that individual's suffering with addiction by providing a taxpayer-funded hangout for them, where we said we were not going to have Birmingham police, we're going to have other folks, and really the contract actually provided no wraparound services. And that, things might have changed, we might have fine-tuned that contract. I think did we table that item and that we hadn't seen it again, so maybe it has changed. But my issue with the purchase of the property is fundamental in that I don't believe that the taxpayers need to find a place for homeless people to hang out. Okay, fine, whatever. My other issue is with what we're doing, I don't think that it actually is something that is the most heartfelt or the most, the best way to say that this city cares about these individuals. I think a strict program of, you know, you can either, we will provide you wraparound services. Wraparound services is a term that gets used, you know, really, really broadly. But I mean specific mental health or addiction, very specific mental health or addiction, or you cannot do that on a public street, as in go to jail. You know, the mayor and I had a very candid conversation this morning, which is why I asked to be recognized this morning. But seriously, the mayor and I had a very candid conversation, and Mayor, and I really appreciate your willingness to say, to hear me out, to meet me where I am or halfway or where, I don't know, where, you know, wherever we decided to meet on that. And no, I'm not going to support it. And I'm not going to beat anybody up of it. I really disagree with where it's going. But the taxpayer, I think, is losing, and the homeless individual is losing too, because they are being given a place where they can continue their struggle with addiction, where they can continue their struggle with mental health. And I don't think it's the taxpayer's responsibility to provide them that place, and I don't think it's in their best interest to do that. And so those are my concerns. And we have 50% of our homeless population believe that Birmingham is their home. We have 50% that are transient and don't call Birmingham home-ish. I know those percentages are not exactly correct, Elena. But with those that call Birmingham home, you know, we can address this in our court system. They can either go to rehab and complete a program, and we have a ton of great local nonprofit hometown folks that can provide that, or, you know, they can go to jail, or they can find somewhere else to go. But the other day I was going to lunch with my beautiful chief of staff, and we were going, and you know, over in a car is a one man in the fentanyl stoop or whatever it's called, and then the other is literally shooting up in the car, and it's all the homeless tents are out there, and the HEART program's out there, watching all this happen. And it's really disheartening to see that level of open air drug use is going on in the city, that a city contracted group is out there visibly watching it go on, and that is how the tax dollars are being spent. So I have a lot of reservations and you know, doubts that same group that are watching people shoot up publicly are going to be able to provide help for those that have addiction issues. And I know my time is up, so that is all I have.
Madam President,
Yes, Mayor Woodfin.
I wanted to respond to colleagues, Councilor Hunter, some of the things said. I guess sticking to the frame of what's before you, I think there are a couple notes. Well, before I do that, I think there's one important thing to note. This definitely does not go to, I think, I forgot the word he used, but prolonging their demise or their issues. And the frame around what's before you, Council Williams, you are correct in the fact that opioid funds cannot be used for this purchase. So we got two separate things going on here. Before you is this, for the city of Birmingham to go through this real estate transaction. If you see the funds is out of our general funds. So for the fiscal year we're currently in, that ends June 30th, you all approved $1.5 million to support unhoused services. It's literally a toolbox, if you will. It's multiple things we're doing to address this issue. This is one of them. And so before you is no use of opioid funding. I want to be very clear about that on the public record. Two, from a programmatic standpoint, the opioid funds are necessary and are used from the program standpoint to get directly to the people who may actually be addicted to drugs, et cetera. I want to be very clear about how the space is being used. This is not an open drug market. You can't come to this space and use drugs. You will be arrested. You will be charged. Whether you are the seller or user, this is not what this space is designed for. I think the other thing, there's so many points you made, I'm not sure I can address them all, but I will say that, as Ireneo said and Mr. Johnson said, counselors, I'm looking at each of you, this is a very complex issue. There's not one silver bullet. There's not one answer. There's not one solution. We believe we have to approach, address, and attack this multiple ways, and this is one of the ways. But let's be also clear about the moment, because at least 6 or 7 of you I get calls or texts from. Within your districts, you have business owners who complain about what's happening in their storefront, whether it's on their property or on public right-of-way, where people are posted or hanging out, or increased activity that may borderline on criminal, but it's not. It's just the visibility of it may be disorderly. Human beings, housed or unhoused, will hang. We have a choice before us to choose a space where it's organized and we can get people to the help they need. And that allows those calls that you get, which you inadvertently get to me or I directly get and they bypass you, that those calls will decrease, which we're confident that they will decrease. Or we can do nothing. We can continue to address all the housing needs, but you're still going to have people who choose to ignore or say no or ignore us and continue to go to their city block, their hangout spot, if you would. We believe this is an option. And we're so honest. It's going to work or not work. If it don't work, we'll shut it down. Like, we're not. It's not some perfect bullet, if you would. But it's definitely a solution within the toolbox we believe would be very helpful. The one last note I'll make. I think when we had this original thought, it was to take an existing city right-of-way, right, via an alley, if you would, and like convert this alley to that space where people hang. So think lights and maybe turfing a portion of it, still creating the same space. But within the same vicinity where we were thinking about vacating city right-of-way to create this space, opportunity came available related to the purchase. Now, if you consider the Second Avenue corridor, what you have is an existence of organizations, if you would, that provide services for our unhoused residents. It stretches from as early as 17th and 2nd, all the way to the other side of 65, west of 65, if you would, all the way down to the firehouse shelter. So literally on one end on 17th, you have Brother Brian. And all the way down, what's the street? Is it 9th, 10th? Where firehouse shelter is. 6th, 17th to 6th. You have a minimum of 4 organizations who are in the business of providing services for unhoused. Each of them have certain hours within that 17th to 6th block that they provide those services. So by human nature, when those services are not being provided and or their hours are not being operated, that's probably the highest quarter you're going to get unhoused residents to mingle, hang, chill, whatever, and or co-mingle with housed residents. So what we do from a public safety standpoint is very, very important. From what we do from a public works standpoint is very important. But our ability to add this component kind of eases some of the tension, if you would, for those existing businesses who are also in that same corridor between 17th and 6th.
Thank you. I know we had some counselors that asked for questions. Counselor Smitherman?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I don't think we heard too much from Ms. Milton, and really, if you can kind of explain a little bit more about this area and this project, kind of the way you did budget and finance. I kind of talked about, I'm a visual person, so I kind of asked you to almost like draw in the air what it would look like. And kind of a couple of the cities you guys may have visited or try to mirror this after.
Sure. So the site would be set up, the mayor and Ireneo said it perfectly, like an urban park. And we've seen this in Austin, Texas, and in San Francisco, and they're beautiful spaces reserved for the unhoused, but everybody essentially is welcome. In San Francisco particularly, we saw people pop in and grab a cup of coffee on their way to work. They're located in the downtown, in the business districts, to alleviate some of the pressure off the businesses, right? We've had numerous conversations with the folks in the Switch District. We talk to the director of Innovation Depot all the time. Fortunately, some of them are open to some new solutions, none. We'll have to continue conversations. However, this would be set up as a place, a beautiful space for folks experiencing homelessness. They could bring and secure their bikes. We hear all the time for folks, if they have doctor's appointments or job interviews, I have to go in with all my things. So we do want to have bins or lockers so people can securely store their things and get access to those a couple of times a day. There will be table and seating, and the area will be fenced. There will be a dog park within this space. So like I said before, this is the only space that they'll be able to safely bring their dogs. Did I say everything? Yes.
I think you mentioned that, maybe I misheard yesterday, every so often there would be agencies there.
Yes. Thank you. So there are 2 groups that we've already funded through our opioid funds, and that is Care for Our Journey. And so they're particularly going to areas or into encampments and helping with access to treatment and getting people on their mental health meds. So there have been some studies that have shown, and the same project is running very successfully in Montgomery, that if we can get people lucid and on their medication, then they can have the conversation about housing. I do want to say something I admitted before. Research shows that about 15 to 18 touches needed to get somebody who's chronically homeless to trust you and move on to how to even let you have the conversation about helping. So the thought is, if we have people and they're seeing essentially the same folks, I'm in the same space, and now I'm safe, and I can begin to have the conversation about going to drug treatment or getting access to care or moving on into housing. No different than we've passed funding for social workers in the libraries. I keep showing up at the library. This case managers every day. I trust them, my barrier is low, and I'm allowing them to help me.
Okay. When do you think this will be open, or when will we start this?
The goal would be the start of summer.
Okay.
Before the top of summer.
And Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, is there a safety plan? Did you say the
Yeah.
word safety plan?
I mentioned yesterday, we will work with BB to actually create a safety plan. I think that's important to provide to the council and or the general public if it's needed, but, well, maybe not the general public for legal reasons, and I'll let the
Right,
city attorney tell me that, but definitely one in writing to the council related to a public safety plan, no different than we have, so various types of businesses to actually have and or provide a public safety plan.
Okay. And then did we, because it still says 170,000, was it mentioned it was supposed to be 160,000?
Yeah.
It was, okay.
Yes,
Yes, 168.
Right, the price was
Okay.
based upon appraised value, and it's actually 168.
Okay, because I think it was same amount. It just wasn't correct.
It'll be
on here.
amended, but.
Okay, perfect. I was just
The
making
appraised
sure.
value is 168.
Okay, gotcha. You know, I will say this, and I said this at Budget and Finance, a lot of my questions were around, what would I look for or how would I feel if, God forbid, something happened and this was me? I feel like if we can spend money on sporting events, we can spend money on our unhoused residents. Because, and I thank the mayor because, you know, I think with the 10 of us this term and the latter part of my 7 years, we are starting to help every resident, regardless of your race, your age, or your housing situation. I will say, like Councilwoman, at first I was a little apprehensive because I was like, okay, what is this? We don't want to have a vacant lot where people are just hanging out just to hang out, because we all know kids, adults, if you just have people hang out, that causes for trouble. But I think this has more of a concentrated plan. It has intention to help people. I don't think every unhoused resident is on drugs. Now, I do get calls too about unhoused. I am one of the 6 in front of people's businesses, but I also see a lot more unhoused having a business downtown. And a lot of these are just people looking for something to eat, or sometimes they know my name. They say, "Hey, Crystal, how you doing?" Or even they'll speak to my mom, or people who just really are just kind of down on their luck and just need a little bit of help. So I'm all for helping our unhoused residents. No, maybe it shouldn't be government's job, but somebody has to do it, and we don't know what's going on with the federal government, meaning that we may not be able to apply for as many grants, but I'm hoping that this is successful to help our unhoused residents. We do have to look for more solutions to help people. But I think between this, Homes for All, this is a good start. I do have one question. I'm gonna ask it again, because I feel like we have to repeat our questions twice. But considering mobile showers, are we gonna consider that from time to time?
100%. I mean, I think when we talk about decency and dignity, we got to figure it out. What does it look like? Like, how does it work? But we're providing bathroom stalls. So if we can figure this piece out, I think it would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, because like I said, there is 2 different situations. The people who are, life just happened, right? And they ended up unhoused. And there are some people who, like also with our own, drugs, who need to be addressed correctly, which I hope that doesn't happen here, which will take over the good services here, but we do have to figure that out as well. The drug situation that happens. And I do know there are ordinances that are coming before us dealing with the unhoused, but I do want to thank Elena Milton. And I've said this before, I have seen a more proactive approach to the unhoused in the last 2 or 3 years than it has been before. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Quinn?
Yeah, so this property is in my district, and, let me start out by saying that the city buys and sells property all the time, so I don't have any issue with us purchasing this property to serve a public purpose. I do want to provide some background on this issue in this specific geographic location. So last October, Councilor Tate was with me. we were in Washington DC and met with the staff of one of our senators. This was October of 2025. And when we sat down, staff opened the conversation with, what are y'all gonna do to fix this problem at the corner of 14th Street North and 2nd Avenue North? So again, we were in a United States Senator's office where the conversation started with, what are y'all doing to fix this? And this United States Senator, by all accounts, will very likely be the next governor of the state of Alabama. So I say that to say that this is a serious problem. And the way I see it, well, let me just say, Alana and I have been in a whole bunch of conversations and email exchanges and telephone calls with the business owners in this area. And what I have observed, my experience of this issue has been that there's just a lot of chaos that's happening, particularly in the public right-of-way. You have an organization that's trying to serve this community, but they can't control, what happens when individuals step off of their property into the public right-of-way. And, I am not necessarily in love with all of the things that we're trying to do to address this issue, but I do have a profound appreciation for the fact that we're just trying something. We're trying to bring some order to the chaos. And on the broader issue of, how do we use taxpayer resources, I just want to say that, this is a pay me now or pay me later situation. But one way or another, every taxpayer in the city of Birmingham is paying for people being unhoused. And if you just think about the trespass issue individually, just one little segment of, what a unhoused individual, the types of issues they experience. BPD has, engages with unhoused people just specifically for trespass, more so than any other demographic. Most likely, a lot of these individuals have a file that's, full of documents, inches thick with documents related to their interaction with law enforcement. One anecdotal piece of information is that homeless individuals tend to go through shoes a lot more quickly than your average person because they're constantly on the move. They have to walk a lot to be able to, access resources, but they're also just trying to move to avoid negative interactions, So in any case, I see this effort as trying to solve for the problem, and, it may not be perfect, but at least we're trying something, and if it, as Mayor Whiffen says, if it doesn't work, we'll try something different. And it's not the only thing that we're trying. That, with this issue, you have to be committed to, a multi-pronged approach. So I'm willing to try it. The situation presently in the community is that you have a neighborhood with businesses that are trying to operate and serve their clientele, and you're trying to do that in the midst of a significant number of unhoused people, you know, present too. And that's challenging. And, you know, like I said, currently, it kind of looks like chaos. So I see this as, you know, one small way of trying to bring order to the chaos. So I'm going to support this.
Thank you. Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam President. I think I have a lot to say. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Mayor. I had an opportunity to go to San Francisco with Elena to see, I'm like Councilor Smith, I have to see things in real time for me to visualize what needs to happen. That particular space that was in San Francisco, that space was given to the city by, you know, the tech company, the business owners. So we had an opportunity to see it. I had an opportunity to see somebody that denied services that they didn't want. You remember that? The young lady that was having an episode, and the doctors and everybody, that organization came up on her, and she was afraid of going back to the emergency. But I also want to say, and I think Councilor Quinn raised a great point, we got a governor trying to build a 4,000-bed prison with billions of dollars of taxpayers' money. And one of the things that I did here is people that were suffering from mental illness and addiction. You know, jails and prisons are becoming these spaces and places. And I don't know if you remember this, Mayor, what was it, about 3 years ago, when they did a massive release and all of these people were dropped off in Birmingham, right here in the city, with no notice, to add to the ongoing problem that we have in Birmingham. When I look at situations like this, and we have all of these organizations that have been here prior to Urban Alchemy getting here, it makes me wonder, what have you been doing to solve an issue that still exists? And all this pointing fingers and this and the third, this is a complex issue that you're not going to solve overnight. But what I don't continue to hear is humanizing individuals and continuing of care. All we hear is lock them up, put them in jail, still gonna have a problem. But I want to know from each of you sitting here, anybody in this order, who's seeing Alabama Solutions? Anybody? If you're not, I challenge you to go join Mayor Stewart. And the Alabama Solutions was nominated for an Oscar. The very problem that you see on the streets of Birmingham and throughout this nation is people coming out the place, what we call the Department of Corrections. Everybody coming out of these prisons addicted to drugs and mental illness that's not being treated. We seeing this same stuff explored right here on the streets of Birmingham. I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm gonna continue to challenge you all. Please go to some of these spaces and places where people are doing the real work. When you work with people that are addicted, people that are formerly incarcerated, or people that are mentally ill, trust is a big factor in all of this. People gotta trust you. I'm not gonna sit up here and criticize no organization, because I've heard some stories about some of these main organizations that the city have given money to. I'm gonna challenge the administration and us to bring these people back and provide reports. You get millions of dollars, provide some reports so we can see what you're doing. Don't tell me what you're doing. I want to see what you're doing. I want to see your impact report. But I challenge each and every person sitting up here on this dais and in the audience, if you have not seen the Alabama Solutions, then this will give you a broader perspective is why we need to have a heart of care, move with empathy and sympathy, because it could be me. But I thank God I got a sane mind and I know how to pray. And praying to God that it don't affect me or my family. But for those that are struggling with mental illness and addiction, I challenge you. When you sitting up in your church house every Sunday, get a heart. Start caring. Because it could be you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Councilor Vasa.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to start by shouting out Councilor Smitherman for some of her words today. I agree, and we've experienced this in our office, that when we first came on board, there were a lot of emails, a lot of calls, and a lot of concerns about public encampments and public spaces, and we've had several conversations. And Director Melton, I just want to thank you for the work that you've done the last few months, just that we've been in office. Those calls have decreased, those emails have decreased. We still have a couple of areas that need work, and we're on the same page, Underwood Park, Green Springs Highway, et cetera. But I do want to commend you for the work. We've seen some results, and that's a good thing. The only question I had is related to coordinating with downtown businesses and sort of some of the adjacent stakeholders. Talk to me a little bit about what that looks like in relation to the Music Center.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the very last part.
In relation to this property.
Sure. So Councilor Quinn alluded to it. Many of us in this room have been in the meetings with the businesses in the Switch District, where we committed to trying to do some things differently. I think we now owe them a follow-up post whatever happens with this meeting, to just share about this being one more tool in the toolbox. Additionally, we've also been coordinating a little bit more with Church of the Reconciler. It's been well stated here that when they're closed, things do happen that may not be their fault, but them increasing their hours and their programming may be helpful, and they're open to doing such. So I think all of this together will hopefully help take some of the pressure off the businesses. We absolutely have the businesses in mind, too, as we build this out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Smith.
Yes, so thank you for your work with us and making this come to fruition. So I know the city is putting forth the money to get us started. Will the city be managing the day-to-day operations of the facility?
We will not be. I think it's in the best interest. We're still talking with legal department about process around management, and then we'll be in the best position to follow up with the council. You can expect follow-up within 24, 48 hours related to management.
Thank you. That answered. Thank you. Councilor Woods.
Thank you, Madam President. I think we've definitely kind of expanded past like what we're doing today, but I think it's important because this represents basically, I think, the biggest issue that we're going to face going forward. I think when most of us got here in and around the same time, but like street paving, public safety were our biggest issues. We really, even stuff like speed cushions, people were pushing, so we leaned in and effectively solved or made tremendous progress towards solving those issues. The pension gap, like really leaning in, solving things. And so I think that really unhoused population and kind of a mental health crisis are things that we're seeing increase in our footprint, and we're having to lean in, increase our investment to move the ball on this. And so I think it's important to, when you're dealing with situations where nobody has solutions, like if you could just go to this city and get this solution, you have to look and see, what is being effective in different areas. We have to go back and see what are we missing in our ecosystem, what's effective, what's not effective. But mainly I think it boils down to this, like we are, at the end of the day, government becomes responsible for solving whatever issues its residents face. And so this is a issue, like even in my district, it didn't exist when I got in office. It's something that has evolved and grown over the years. And when you talk about the cost to community, that shows up in a lot of ways. And so in the last month, there's been multiple fires in the community. And so what does it look like when Like for me, I have to go out and I'm in a resident's backyard because there was a fire behind his house so intense that it melted his siding. And so we're having those conversations. So that cost shows up when 3, Birmingham Fire and Rescue trucks are literally spraying water in residents' backyards so the fire doesn't spread from another jurisdiction into our city while fire trucks from another jurisdiction on the other side trying to put the fire out. And so these things are, we have to address it, and we're going to have to invest in it. And so one thing I do think that residents, specifically in my district, they want to see that investment. They want to get to a solution. And it's kind of on us to understand that we have to take the approach because we are dealing with people, oftentimes on public spaces where they have a right to be. And so if I want to go walk across the street and sit in the middle of the sidewalk, I can do that. And so just because I'm not homeless, doesn't mean I should be treating any different if I do it. But I think, how do we address that? Is that a mental health issue? Is there a drug issue? Because I think to a point Pro Tem Tate alluded to, like we're in a situation where like our county jail, our city jail, those are the biggest care providers for mental health right now and drug addiction. And so we got a problem with the ecosystem. And so, this is just one piece of the puzzle, but it really dials down to the point of relationship. Because it doesn't matter what your problem is, you're not going to let anybody help you until you have some confidence in that person. It doesn't matter if you have bad personal financial discipline or you need healthy eating tips. It doesn't matter what it is. You're not going to take those opinions from people unless you trust and have some reason to believe. And so I think I've seen this being walked out because we've really, over the last couple of years, had to lean in my district specifically. But if you ever just talk to people that are experiencing homelessness, they just they're not concerned about the things you're concerned about. And so you have to be able to understand, all right, what do you want? Like, where do you want to be? And how can we help you get to where you want to be? And so I think it's, it's no longer do we really have the ability or luxury just to kind of maintain status quo. That investment has to continue to increase, and we have got to continue to be creative. Same way we were in the public safety space. We were creative in what we invested in and how we invested, how we communicated. And so what does give me optimism is that collectively we solved so many problems before. I know that we can kind of continue to keep churning, keep swinging until we get where we need to be. So, I think we just got to continue that, and I'm looking forward to really implementing, but then getting data back just to understand effectiveness.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. Melton. Thank you, Renio, and thank you, Mayor Woodfin, for answering the questions and giving us the details on this. I did just have one final question that I want to be sure we reiterated. The $168,000, this comes out of the money that we've already allocated or we supported before for the $1.5 million, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am,
For
Madam
this
President.
type of resources to aid this particular population of our city. And I just want to say that we often have items that we're spending taxpayers' money on that does not directly relate to the health, the well-being of our citizens. And I think we all want to see all of our citizens have the resources that we have here in the city to help improve their quality of life. So thank you very much. This time we're ready for the vote. And I vote aye.
Council Pro Tem Tate?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank you. That item passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item.
Should be addendum item 52. I'm sorry?
Well, we have one more, how about?
37. I'm sorry.
Yes, before that.
A resolution appointing 5 members to the City of Birmingham Stormwater Appeals Board for said terms pursuant to ordinance number 99-131.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion and a second on this item? So we can bring the items up. Is a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'll turn this over to Dr. O'Quinn to read these appointees.
Yes, so the city of Birmingham has a stormwater appeals board, and this is a board that is, kind of what it sounds like. It hears appeals from property owners in regards to our stormwater regulations. The positions on this board are prescribed positions, so there's a environmental engineer slash scientist, environmentalist slash conservationist, neighborhood community leader, business slash retired utility worker, and an at-large Birmingham resident. So the appointees that the Transportation Infrastructure Committee have recommended are Hannah Barris for the environmental engineer scientist position, replacing Francesca Gross. That term expires July 1st of 2027. Benjamin Whiteliner is the environmentalist slash conservationist who's replacing Robert Askin for a term expiring July 1st of 2028. Carson Franklin Sr. is the neighborhood slash community leader replacing Lee LaShin for a term expiring July 1st, 2028. Michael Elmore, retired utility worker, replacing Daryl Bronson for a term expiring July 1st, 2027, and Lee LaShin as the at-large City of Birmingham resident, replacing James Watts for a term expiring July 1st, 2027. And so those are the nominations from the Transportation Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. O'Quinn. Any questions regarding these submissions? All right, at this time, we'll entertain the vote. All right, thank you. That item passes. We thank the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee for considering these candidates and bringing these to us, and we welcome them and their service they'll bring to the city of Birmingham. Next item, I think we have our addendum item now.
Yes, ma'am. Item 52. A resolution granting an operating authority permit with 3 certificates of public necessity and convenience to Keys Party and Luxury Transportation LLC, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to be used in the operation of a limousine service upon the public streets of Birmingham and to and from location within the city in accordance with provisions of Title 12, Chapter 16 of the General Code of the City of Birmingham as amended or may be amended. Motion.
Move the item.
Second.
All right, thank you. Councilors, this is a resolution granting an operating authority permit and certificates of public necessity and convenience to an organization. I want to thank Dr. O'Quinn. He is recommending this on behalf of his committee. Dr. O'Quinn, if you give us more information about this item.
Yeah, so this is again, a request for certificates of public necessity and convenience. And what the business owner is doing here is providing essentially limousine service, but utilizing 3 different vehicles, such as a GMC Yukon, a Ford Transit, that's a van, and a Chevy G4500, which I believe is also a van. So, hosting groups that are doing weddings and parties and that sort of thing. And we have several operators in the city of Birmingham who provide the same type of service.
Thank you. Any questions, councilors? All right, we're ready to entertain the vote.
Council Pro Tem Tate? Yes. All right, that motion is.
All right, thank you. Item 52 passes. there any other items on the agenda? All right, thank you. At this time, we'll entertain updates from your various districts. And who'd like to go first? You looked at me first, Counselor, so Counselor Smitherman?
Thank you, Madam President. So this past Friday, we had our 5th annual You Speak, a celebration of Black History program. We had about 200 students to participate, several schools from Birmingham City and the metro area. I'm very thankful to Red Mountain Theater and the Flourish for helping me continue this tradition. And I want to thank my colleagues, Councilors Gunn and Tate, for attending as well. I know they had to leave early, but I really appreciate it. Also, Jeff was able to attend, school board members and judges. It was great, all forms of art participating, and gets bigger and bigger every year. So I'm really thankful for that. We don't have any neighborhood meetings. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., there will be a historical marker ceremony for Washington K-8 School. And then Holy Family Crystal Ray will host their monthly community give back day this Thursday. They will have a free pet clinic for vaccinations for your pets, and that'll be from 10 to 12, and then a free food drive-through giveaway from 11 to 1. And the location is the back parking lot and courtyard of Holy Family Cristo Rey. Also, my father's birthday is on Monday, so I would like to say happy birthday to my father, Senator Roger Smitherman. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Counselor Vasa?
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to give another kudos to the Youth Speak event. I know we had some students from Glen Iris Elementary participate in that while I was unable to attend. I've heard great comments, so thank you, Councilor Smitherman, for that. And lastly, we have a Redmont Park Neighborhood Association meeting tonight at 5 p.m. at Birmingham Gardens. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Williams?
Thank you. Crestline Neighborhood will be meeting Thursday, February 26th at 6 o'clock. And then the Alabama High School Athletic Association Basketball Championship is March the 2nd through the 7th at Legacy Arena. So I know that a lot of people are excited about that. Last year, well, no, it would have been 2024, that tournament directly generated $4 million of economic impact for the city of Birmingham. So we hope for the same outcome, and that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Counselor Smith?
All right, thank you. Well, first, I want to say thank you to the administration for your support of our cultural arts facilities and recreation centers. Noticing on the agenda today, we had money towards the Carver Theater as well as Highland Park Tennis Center, so thank you all for that. Second, I want to acknowledge Mr. Johnny Gunn, President of the Bellevue Heights Neighborhood Association, for being in the audience today. Reminder that Birmingham Park and Rec is hiring lifeguards. You can call 205-254-2189 if you are interested. And we have the following neighborhood association meetings. We had the Bush Hills neighborhood meeting scheduled for today, but that has been canceled in lieu of the State of the City address this evening. College Hills will meet on Monday, March 2nd at 6 p.m. at Legion Field, and the Central Pratt neighborhood will meet on Monday, March 2nd, also at 6 p.m., but via conference call. So please contact our office for details. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Counselor Gunn?
Thank you, Madam President. Upcoming District 4 events, just want to remind all the residents in the Brownsville Heights community that we will be having mobile office hours on March the 3rd from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We want to take this as an opportunity for residents to get out and meet the city councilor and ask any questions that they may have, and possibly discuss the solutions to some of the concerns that they have in their neighborhood. So this is an opportunity for them to get out and get to know me and not have to come to City Hall. Upcoming neighborhood association meetings, the first Monday of, which will be March the 2nd, we have the Maple Grove Neighborhood Association meeting, which will take place at 6:30, and that will take place via teleconference. Also on Monday, March 2nd, we have the Zion City Neighborhood Association meeting, which takes place at 6:30 p.m. Via teleconference. Also on Monday, March 2nd, we have the Brownsville Heights Neighborhood Association meeting at 6:30 p.m. at the Brownsville Heights Community Center. And then lastly, on Monday, March 2nd, we have the Collegeville Neighborhood Association meeting at 6:30 p.m. at the Greater New Antioch Baptist Church. Rounding out that week, we have the Fairmont Neighborhood Association meeting, which takes place Tuesday, March the 3rd at 6:30 p.m. at the North Birmingham Library. And last but not least, the Brummett Heights Neighborhood Association meeting takes place on Thursday, March the 5th at the Brownsville Heights Community Center. Lastly, we have a community development committee meeting that will take place on Monday, March 2nd at 3:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers. That concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Councilor Gunn. Councilor Wood.
Thank you, Madam President. Quickly, a few announcements. I want to thank Black Warrior Riverkeeper, the Hoover YMCA leaders, the leadership of Jefferson County Department of Health. Came out last Saturday to Grayson Park for our community cleanup, and we removed just over 573 pounds of litter from in and around Grayson Park and 5 Mile Creek. Next cleanup will be on March 15th at the Huffman Shopping Center. That will be at 1 p.m. And so we've seen that we've got creeks that kind of matriculate throughout our district, and so we really work to kind of remove trash from potentially getting into our waterways, and so I've been appreciative of everyone that's come out to that. Also want to thank everybody. Last week we were able to wrap up one of my favorite ARPA projects, which was a reprint of Green Power, and we announced and kind of kicked off the audiobook. So one of the things we did in conjunction with reprinting the book was we created the audiobook, and so we had a reception partnering with the Boys and Girls Club to really announce that, as well as really bring in some people who knew A.G. Gaston personally and had experience either working or interacting with him, just to kind of share their thoughts and serve on a panel. So I do want to thank former Mayor Richard Arrington, Bob Dickerson, Brian Hamilton, along with Dr. Henry Panion, Victor Thomas, and Director Andre McFadden, as well as the whole A.G. Gaston Boys and Girls Club team. Like I said, we've been working on this for it's been about at least almost a 2-year journey. And so we did the reprint, and now the audiobook is available. And so basically, these are revenue generators in perpetuity for the Boys and Girls Club. And so if you, all proceeds go directly to them. As their supplies get low, they're automatically reprint. And so one, it helps them with the revenue source, but two, it ensures that the book and A.G. Gaston's story can, one, only continue, but reach even more people going forward. I think his story is truly one that anyone can glean from and truly inspirational, no matter who you are and where you come from. And so definitely want to encourage everyone to get a copy, get the book and the audiobook. Make sure you got it both covered. But look forward to doing some more work to get that into schools and just get that reach even further. So lastly, I do want to mention the Apple Valley Neighborhood Association will meet on Tuesday, March 3rd at 6:30 p.m. They will meet at the East Pinson Valley Rec Center, and there's also a virtual option, and so just always continually encouraging residents to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Woods. Councilor Quinn.
Thank you, President Alexander. In District 5 this week, we have Fountain Heights Neighborhood Association meeting tonight at 6 p.m. at the Fountain Heights Rec Center. Crestwood North Neighborhood Association also meets tonight at 6:30 p.m. at Girls Incorporated. The Planning and Zoning Committee will meet this afternoon at 3 p.m. here in the council chambers. If you have any questions ahead of that meeting, please contact my office at 205-254-2679. I also want to announce that we have a vacancy on the Birmingham Planning Commission that we are accepting applications for. If you are interested in serving on the Birmingham Planning Commission, please send your resume and letter of interest to Maisha Hutchinson at maisha.hutchinson@birminghamal.gov by Friday, February 27th. This Saturday, the District 5 office will be at Jones Valley Teaching Farm for our annual Fifth and Feast. This is a annual event that we do with residents and stakeholders across District 5, where we just gather in intimate setting, share a meal, and talk about priorities across the district. So doors will open at 9:30 a.m. and we'll start everything, the meeting off at 10 a.m. Again, we invite all District 5 residents and business stakeholders to join us. Please contact our office at 254-2679 for more information. This is February, as you know, is Black History Month, and so we like to talk about the events that are going on at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. There's a panel discussion coming up on Thursday, February 27th, from 5 to 7 p.m., and the topic of discussion is mapping Black migration, and they're going to be talking about the historical and contemporary movements of Black Americans. There's another event coming up on Saturday, February 28th, from 12 to 2, that's called What's Really Inside Your Phone. This is a hands-on workshop for middle schoolers exploring the usage of cell phones with tips for cell phone safety and responsible use. So again, that's happening Saturday, February 28th from 12 to 2. And although it's February and cold outside, I know parents are already thinking about, okay, what do I do with my kids this summer when they're out of school? So want to remind folks that Jones Valley Teaching Farm has summer camps for youth rising second grade through rising eighth grade. And you can find more information about JVTF's Camp Grow at www.jvtf.org. And that concludes my announcement.
Thank you very much. Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam President. As it's been stated, Fountain Heights Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at 6 p.m. at Fountain Heights Rec Center, but Councilor Quinn, I'm actually getting my staff to ping them due to the mayor's state of the city address tonight. Dolomite Neighborhood Association will be held tonight, and they meet on conference call at 6 p.m. You can dial in by calling 720-843-2669, code 3789426. Eden Ridge Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Thursday, February 26th at 5:30. They meet on Zoom. You can call the office for the Zoom link and passcode. Sherman Heights Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Monday, March the 2nd at 6 p.m. at Morningside Christian Church, located at 1600 Slayton Avenue. Central Pratt Neighborhood Meeting will be held Monday, March the 2nd also, and they meet on conference call. You can dial in by calling 720-740-9732, passcode 348808. The next public safety meeting will be held today in the City Council Chamber at 1 p.m. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. These are announcements for District 7. On Thursday, the Industrial Center Neighborhood Association will meet at 6:30 p.m. at the Mirador Center. And then on Monday, March 2nd, Gracilla Heights Neighborhood will start us off with our March meetings, and that will be Gracilla Heights. They will meet 6 p.m. also at the Mirador Center. Want to remind everyone, please dial 311 or 205-254-6314 to report illegal dumping, or if you have a missed bulk trash pickup. In speaking to Councilor Williams, his announcement about the Alabama High School Athletic Association Regional Tournament, that's, or the what do I want to say? The big tournament coming to the city of Birmingham. We know the high school is one game away from being part of that championship game, and so they will be playing SIPSI to try to secure 5A regional champs. So we extend great hopes and congratulations to them. Councilors, I do want to remind you all, we do have, in lieu of travel that's coming up in March. We do have a special call committee of the whole meeting that will be held Thursday, March 12th at 3 p.m. That's a time change. Normally we meet at 3:30, but this is a Thursday, and it'll be at 3 p.m., and we do have a quorum for that. And you'll be getting more information about the items that will be on the agenda, and we'll get those materials to you early so that you'll be able to review those and circulate any questions. Thank you so much. Those are announcements from District 7. This time, Mr. Clerk, we're ready for the speakers list.
We have, Dr. Robinson.
Good morning, Dr. Robinson, as you come forward. If you give us your name and address again, and we do have 3 minutes, and you'll see that your time there on the screen. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Suzette Robinson. My address is 800 Ella Drive in Birmingham, Alabama. Good morning, Mayor, City, Council members. My name is Dr. Suzette Robinson. I'm the founder of P2P Certification and Training Institute, operating alongside with Wigs by Suzette Hair Replacement Center. I am here to introduce an initiative designed to advance workforce opportunities for licensed cosmetologists seeking specialization in trichology. Our program provides focused hands-on training in scalp analysis, non-surgical hair replacement, sanitation standards, client care, and entrepreneurship. Graduates gain advanced skills that increase earning potential, support small business growth, and provide critical community services. This initiative aligns with Birmingham's workforce development and economic mobility priorities, offering a credential-based advancement in growing niche in the industry. At this stage, I am seeking guidance on the appropriate city department or office to explore a pilot partnership that can measure certification completion, business readiness, increase the income growth for the participants. Thank you for your time and consideration. I welcome any questions and look forward to collaborating to expand workforce opportunities in Birmingham.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Robinson. And this is your contact information that we have here. Correct. And so I have particular interest in workforce development, so my office will be getting with you. And any other counselors may reach out to you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Pro Tem.
One organization comes to mind is the Salvation Army they new command center. So Jahan Quinn runs the workforce development program through the Salvation Army.
Okay.
So they offer a lot. I had an opportunity to speak with her last Wednesday when I was there. CDL is something they do. They do a lash tech training where you get the equipment to start your lash tech business. And she did mention to me something about possibly bringing some type of cosmetology online.
Okay.
So Jahan Quinn, yes, and I can. If my staff is listening, they can come up, they can provide you with her phone number.
I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. At this time, we want to thank our officers on duty, Officer Pinkert and Officer Tarrant, as well as our fire inspectors on duty, Inspector Griggs. I do have one question for Chief, either of you. We are currently going through the process of creating our travel through the Oracle system and the electronic process. And there are some problems that we're encountering with just being sure that they're routed to the right individual for approval and getting those notices back. Say, for instance, if a person didn't get the approval, it could be stuck. And then when you go to get your advance, that's when you notice that the approval has not gone forward. So who should we direct those type of inquiries to?
Probably the safest way, good afternoon, Council, the safest way would be to start with the GA team.
Okay.
And then they'll elevate it to us because we literally will have to walk them down individually as they continue to do the upgrades for the Oracle system. So please elevate them to us and then let us investigate and then we'll walk them down.
All right, thank you very much. I do know that we had a very good training Administrator McDaniels, we had an individual to come over and do some training, and actually our staff did some video recording of that. I just want to mention the name of the trainer to give them. Okay, and we want to thank her for the training that she provided, but this is just that further step, just ensuring that we close the gap and everybody has their resources when it comes time to represent the city. So thank you. Thank you very much. At this time, councilors, we have no other items and no other business. Can we? I did. I thought I thanked them already. And all those in favor of adjournment? Our aye. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
It is a celebration of Black History Month for the 5th annual Youth Speak event in Birmingham. It's a chance for students to use art, spoken word, and performance to express themselves.
Okay, so as an English educator, again, it's important for our youth every day to get out and see what they can experience. You know, a lot of the things that we can talk about and teach about in the classroom is so important for them to actually have hands-on to experience and be able to be afforded these opportunities that they have. And so, Councilman Smitherman, we thank you for supplying the bus and the funds in order to have our students gain this wonderful experience. So this is great.
So we're here for the 5th annual You Speak, a celebration of Black history. This is so amazing. What started as an idea that was birthed out of the pandemic has turned into a big showcase. We have 200 students performing, and it's all forms of art. We have the artwork right over here. We have dance, theater performed. We have a child as young as 5 or 6 years old performing all the way up to 17, 18 years old. What may seem like a small stage to some is actually a large stage for our kids, and be able to have a platform to really express themselves. I think a lot of times we don't give kids that safe space and non-judgmental forum to really talk about the things that they are experiencing in society.
I want to thank Crystal Smitherman, Councilwoman Crystal Smitherman, who understands what it really means to invest in and commit to our youth. Two things can happen and be right at the exact same time. Our youth here in the audience can be exposed to the arts. And then we have amazing young people here that are about to put on an amazing show. That's a great thing, and a lot of that is due to not just Birmingham City Schools, but the investment here with Red Mount Theater in partnership with Crystal Smitherman. So again, thank you for who you are and pouring into our young people.
But theater taught me that yes, I am somebody else, but I can learn to love who I am. Thank you.
Today we have our District 8 neighborhood leaders that are here. We're just doing a 100-day overview, kind of reviewing what's happened these last 100 days.
We estimate being done in the next month or two.
Giving our neighbors an update on our ARPA projects, and then we're just going through the money that was given to each of the neighborhoods in District 8 and how they can use those capital funds within their neighborhoods. So it's just a time for us to fellowship, for us to reflect, review, and just set the next 100 days.